There are walls in this world that were never built to keep enemies out. They were built to confine something or someone within. Stone upon stone, laid with fear, power, and silence. Places where footsteps echo like memories refusing to fade. Is it protection or imprisonment? A fortress can be a sanctuary or a cage. History tells us what was written, but the walls tell us what was hidden. And today, we walk into the stories they didn't want you to know. One, the Tower of London, England. The Tower of London stands along the River Thames like a cold memory carved in stone, built in 1078, not to defend the city, but to control it. Kings feared rebellion, so they imprisoned rivals instead of fighting them. Inside these walls, silence was a weapon, and darkness was a sentence. Princes vanished, queens were executed, whispers became legends. Even today, visitors say they feel watched inside its corridors. A fortress on the outside, but a prison at its heart. The ravens that guard the tower were said to protect the kingdom from collapse. What were they really protecting or warning against? History calls it a royal palace, but the walls remember screams. They were built to keep power contained, not free. And where there is power, there is always fear. Fear is the mortar of these stones, and fear would build many more walls across history. Which brings us to our next one, carved in desert silence. 2. Masada, Israel. Masada rises above the Judean desert like a fortress in the sky. Here, Jewish rebels fled to resist Roman rule, surrounded on all sides with no escape except the sky. The walls were not built to stop invaders, but to keep hope alive. Yet hope can break under the weight of siege and hunger. When defeat became certain, the rebels chose death over enslavement. Their final act was freedom by their own hands. The walls witnessed the quiet of final prayers. The Romans entered to find only silence. A silence heavier than any victory. We call it tragedy, they called it dignity. These walls did not fail. They protected the last breath of a people who refused chains, but walls do not choose their stories. And the next walls were built to control bodies and souls. 3. The Forbidden City, China. Behind crimson gates and golden roofs, emperors lived in isolation, a world where only the chosen could enter, and even fewer could leave. The Forbidden City was not protection for the emperor. It was containment of anyone who might threaten his power. Concubines, servants, guards all lived under watchful eyes. Every step was monitored, every word recorded. To live inside was privilege and prison. The walls separated royalty from the world and reality. Power became a cage made of jade and silence. Those inside dreamed of freedom. Those outside dreamed of power. Yet both sides remained trapped by desire. Gold can bind tighter than iron, and palaces can be lonelier than dungeons. But our next wall held not royalty but children. 4. The Foundling Hospital Walls, London. In the 18th century, this institution promised hope, a place where unwanted children could be left, to be cared for. But many never left its walls again. Orphanages became places of discipline, labor, and control. Walls kept them not from danger, but from life. Children grew without family, identity, or freedom. They learned silence before speech, work before childhood, obedience before self. These walls held the weight of forgotten names. Some rooms echoed with laughter, others with cries. History records charity. But the walls remember abandonment, and abandonment can shape nations, just as prisons do. 5. Eastern State Penitentiary, USA, built as a grand experiment to reform the human soul. In reality, it reformed suffering. Prisoners lived in total solitary confinement. No voices, no light, no identity but regret. The walls forced a person to face nothing but their mind, and the mind can be a brutal warden. Some found faith, others found madness. The silence here is still deafening even when tourists fill the halls, because silence lingers, This place shows how punishment can wear the mask of morality. But the next walls we see were built by hands with no choice at all. 6. The Great Wall. Slave labor tunnels, China millions worked and died building the Great Wall. Their labor was not honored, it was hidden. Bodies were said to be buried inside the mortar. The wall did not protect a nation, it consumed its people. It is celebrated today, yet its foundation is grief. The wall stretches like an eternal reminder of sacrifice. But how much history remembers depends on who writes it. And history often forgets the hands that bleed. The wall is grand, yes, but grand is not always good. Power can demand monuments, but monuments can demand lives. These stones do not represent defense, they represent cost, and the world has many structures built on cost. Our next one speaks of fear frozen in time. 7. The Berlin Wall, Germany concrete, steel, barbed wire, and ideology. A wall that didn't stop invaders, it stopped escape. Families were separated, lives divided overnight. A wall meant to control thought, belief, identity. Guards watched, guns ready. Even hope was dangerous here, but hope is stubborn. People dug tunnels, flew balloons, leapt into the unknown, risked everything for freedom. When the wall finally fell, tears and dust rose together. The world saw a wall fall, but the people saw their lives return. Not all walls last forever, but some scars do. 8. The Ghetto Walls of Warsaw, Poland built during World War II to confine Jewish families. An entire community compressed into suffocating space, walls that turned a city into a cage. Food was rationed to starvation levels. Disease spread faster than hope, yet even here resistance grew. Words were smuggled, songs were whispered, secrets carried in the pockets of courage. The uprising that followed shook history. These walls could confine bodies, not spirit. History tries to teach us, but we often repeat. And repetition leads us to our next walls, still standing, still warning. 9. Alcatraz Island, USA. Surrounded by icy ocean and violent tides. Escape wasn't blocked by walls, but water. The prison held the most feared criminals of the age. Yet the true prison was isolation. Even freedom was visible just across the bay, close enough to see, too far to reach. The sound of waves mocking the heart. Some tried to escape, some succeeded. Or did they? Mystery surrounds their fate. Water can be a stronger wall than stone, and sometimes the world outside is the real prison. 10. The Wailing Wall, Jerusalem. Not all walls are prisons. Some are memory, some are prayer. This wall holds the weight of generations. Hands press against stone seeking comfort, forgiveness, hope. Tears fall into cracks worn smooth by centuries. People come here not to be contained, but to release what they carry within. Walls can imprison or heal. The difference lies in the heart. Here, stone is a witness to faith, a reminder that walls are not only barriers, they are storytellers. And every story depends on who is listening. Walls are never just stone. They are emotion, memory, fear, power, survival. They hold what history forgets, what voices could not speak, and what hearts could not bear to lose. As we walk past them today, we choose what to carry forward. So ask yourself, if walls remember everything, what stories will we leave behind? Like, comment, share, and subscribe for more journeys through places where history still breathes.